Hello there, and welcome back to our third weekly entrance in Sports Talk with Camden. Today, we're not talking about the NBA, we're not talking about college football, we are talking about the NFL season upcoming. Now, the schedule was released like 2 weeks ago, less than 2 weeks ago, I don't know, something like that. And so I'm going to give you my 8 division winners as well as my 6 playoff teams. That sounds about right. Let's go ahead and get into this. It should be a fun one. Let's do it. So for starters, I think I want to go in order of like how I view divisions. And so we're going to start out with the AFC North. I'm a Browns fan. You can see I've got a Browns flag right here. I've got an Ohio State flag, born in Ohio, all that good stuff. And I actually have the Pittsburgh Steelers not winning the division, but finishing 4th in the division. I think the Browns will finish 3rd. First, the Baltimore Ravens. I know it's very common to pick the Cincinnati Bengals, and Joe Burrow is elite, absolutely. But Lamar Jackson just signed. I think that in order to win this division, you need to have excellent QB play. And Lamar does that. He wins 75% of his games. And if he was healthy last year, they probably win that division. I believe Cincinnati only won it by a game or two last year. And Lamar didn't play for a couple of those games. So he plays. They might win the division. They might even win that playoff game. So these two teams are really close. And when Lamar is healthy, then that gives him an even better chance to try to win that division. So I've got Baltimore Ravens winning the AFC North. Let's go into how I view it. It'll be the AFC East as the second team, and for that division, I've got the Buffalo Bills. Now, at the end of this, I'm going to go ahead and post like my schedule, how I think everyone's going to finish with what record, but I wouldn't read too much into it because like I could have the Detroit Lions finishing 14-3, and just by looking at their schedule, which obviously they're probably not going to, but like just the only thing I really care about is the 14 playoff teams I'm giving you today. So like I was saying, Buffalo Bills winning that division. Aaron Rodgers and Tua, they're going to kind of beat each other up. New England's going to win a couple games that they shouldn't. I think that Buffalo is still far and away one of the better roster in that division. And Josh Allen has faced a lot of criticism recently in this last year that he can't get past certain teams. And in the draft, they got Dalton Kincaid. I love Dalton Kincaid from Utah. So he's going to help him out. Dawson Knox and him. Dawson Knox says they're going to run a 2 tight end set. I wouldn't be surprised if they ship Dawson Knox out of there. But great tight end, great number 1 receiver. Gabe Davis got to step it up a little bit like he did in that one game that we all remember against Kansas City. Go UCF players. Number 3, as in the 3rd division, Jacksonville Jaguars. Last year, I think they won it on week 18 against the Tennessee Titans where Josh Dobbs was playing. So maybe a lot of Tennessee fans see a lot of positivity with that. But I don't think Ryan Tannehill's the answer. And I don't think you could expect Anthony Richardson or CJ Stroud to win that division in year number 1. So I think Jacksonville has a really easy schedule. And it wouldn't surprise me if they can win upwards of 12, 13, or 14 games this year. I've got them winning 12. I can see it right here in front of me. I got them winning 12 games. Tied with the AFC West, Kansas City Chiefs. I also have being 12-5. Last year, everyone banged on them because they lost Tyreek Hill. Everyone was saying Chargers this, Raiders that, Broncos this, and look at that. Chiefs still got the 1 seed, so wouldn't be surprised if they do it again this year. Juju Smith-Schuster leaves, which is unfortunate for them because he was a great number 1 receiver. As long as Mahomes and Kelsey and Andy Reid are there, they're going to be fine. Defense is going to be okay. They got young, cheap defensive players right now other than Chris Jones. So I've got the Chiefs, Jacksonville, Buffalo, and Baltimore winning their division. Now, let's go to the NFC where I've got out of the NFC North, this division I got being kind of bad. Not the worst division, but the 2nd worst division, I believe, in all of the NFL. Where last year the Minnesota Vikings won it with, 14, 13 wins. They ain't going to win that many close games this year. Sorry, Tyler. I know you love Minnesota. I actually have a lot of Minnesota fans. And it's kind of funny because I am a little bit of a Packer fan as well. So, yeah, we battled it out. We'll bet a little bit on that. But I've got the Detroit Lions winning. It only had 10 games, and they're only going to finish about a game above Minnesota. But this is also a really popular pick for Detroit to win. Do not be surprised if Minnesota wins it. If they do, they do. If not, they don't. I just think that I love the route that Detroit is taking. I don't love their draft, right? A lot of people hated their draft. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. Jahmyr Gibbs kind of seems like a reach, but hey, he's explosive. They get rid of DeAndre Swift. Got another cheap running back, so what's the issue? Amon-Ra St. Brown, great receiver, super underrated still. Love him in fantasy, even though I've never had him. Let's go to the next team in the NFC East. Yeah, it's the Philadelphia Eagles again. As long as Jalen Hurts stays healthy, which I assume he will. Guy's really good. I think he's like what Lamar Jackson wants to be. And not saying Lamar Jackson can't be Jalen Hurts, but I would say that there's a little bit of a gap between Lamar and Jalen Hurts. Even though Lamar has an MVP, still, Jalen Hurts last year I feel like just took over the league. Big, strong guy. Super physical. can also throw the ball well when he needs to. And A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown, love him. Devontae Smith, love him. Eagles going to finish first in that division. I also have him having tied for the best record in the NFC with another team I'll get to later. Now, let's go to the worst division, which I feel like was the worst division last year. Something with the South. I don't know. AFC South, other than Jacksonville, is just awful. It's been like that for however many years. There's always like one team, and then the rest are awful. But I've got the New Orleans Saints winning the NFC South this year at 8-9. Only team I have making the playoffs above or below 500. New Orleans Saints, out of that division, it's like young quarterbacks and New Orleans Saints. So it's like, what is going on? They got Derek Carr. I believe that is the best quarterback in the division right now. Not CJ Stroud, but Bryce Young with the number 1 overall pick goes to Carolina. They're going to be fun to watch with all those moves that they made. If I had to pick between Carolina and between Houston, I'd probably say Carolina has a better year, even though I love CJ Stroud. Go Bucks. The Saints have that division. I think Atlanta's going to be the worst team in the NFL next year. I don't think Desmond Ridder is really that good. I mean, he's an NFL quarterback, so he has to be okay. But I don't think Desmond Ridder is that guy. And so I think they're going to definitely tank for Caleb is going to be the word, or tank for Drake May. But Saints going to finish at 8-9 and 4th in the NFC. They're going to get a home playoff game against a team we'll talk about in a minute. The last division winner, 8 out of 8, won the division last year with their 3rd string quarterback, Big Rooster Brock Purdy. Can't say that word because I'm family friendly. But you know who I'm talking about. Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers are going to win that division at a 13-4 record. I've got them tied with the Philadelphia Eagles, probably a little bit high, depending on what happens with Trey Lance and Brock Purdy, how they'll figure out that situation. I don't know. But they're going to face a little bit of a tougher schedule. I think the Eagles will finish as the 1 seed. The Niners will face the 2 seed. Love me the Niners this year. I love it. Their roster's been great every year, but it is aging a little bit. George Kittle getting a little bit older. Their left tackle, Trent Williams, getting a little bit older. So we'll see. Good defense, though. Great defense. Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, all those other guys. Jimmy Ward. I love the Niners. Deebo Samuel, always great. Christian McCaffrey, big utility guy. So Niners, 2 seed, winning the division. Now let's go to the AFC wildcard team. So remember, I've got Jacksonville, Kansas City, Buffalo, and Baltimore winning their divisions. At the 5 seed, should be no surprise, Cincinnati Bengals. Got them finishing with the same record as Baltimore, but when I did it, Baltimore won the tiebreaker somehow. I believe they split their games 1-1. But, the Baltimore has a better in-conference record. But still, Baltimore winning the division. I kind of like it. And Cincinnati being that team right on the outside. And honestly, if I were to pick a Super Bowl team, I'd probably pick the Bengals to do it. I mean, I don't want to be boring and pick the Chiefs, but I really like the Bengals this year. I feel like this is like Joe Burrow's year where he's like, hey, I'm in that reign of Patrick Mahomes as well. I'm in that area. I'm in the same area code as Patrick Mahomes. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Bengals win the Super Bowl this year, but I've got them at the number 5 seed. Number 6 seed, great explosive offense this year with their new pickup in the draft. They also got a receiver in the draft. Who'd they get? They got like an outside. They got Quentin Johnson, right? I'm talking about the Los Angeles Chargers with Jay Herb, the 6'6", 240-pound QB. I got them going 10-7, finishing at the number 6 seed. Love the Chargers this year. I feel like after they lost that game to Jacksonville, they're just going to be looking for revenge on every team that they face. And so don't be surprised if the Chargers are better with Kellen Moore from the Dallas Cowboys. At the 7th seed, this one is tough because there's 3 teams that are within the range of... I'll put 4 teams in there. Screw it, I'll put 4 teams in that range of who can get that 7th seed. And I've got the Miami Dolphins, the Denver Broncos, the New York Jets, and the Cleveland Browns. Now, 4th in that list, I've got the Cleveland Browns. I have to be a little realistic, where they've been disappointing my entire life, which has been a short 20 years, except for 1 year. Thank you, Baker Mayfield. Let's just say it's between 3 teams then: Miami, Denver, and the Jets. And I've got Miami getting that spot. I just feel like their schedule's a little bit easier. They spend like the last month, other than a week, at home. So like their entire December is spent in their home territory. Get to hang out with their family a little bit. Could be a big deal. Broncos I got finishing 8th. Jets I got finishing 8th, both at 9-8. Dolphins finished 10-7. And it'll be interesting because that could go either way. And I wouldn't be surprised if any of those teams make it. Like outside of those 9 teams, if another team comes out of nowhere, like a Houston, and makes it, I will be shocked. But like Broncos at 8, Jets at 9, if any of them make it, whatever. You know, it's Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers. They could do whatever they want. But I've got them both missing the playoffs this year for Tua Tagovailoa. Let's go to the NFC, where I've got the Dallas Cowboys. Yeehaw, go Cowboys. Dak Prescott at that 5 seed. They always win games against their division, so don't be surprised when they do that and they start out looking good, but I got them as the second best team in their division and the fifth best team in that conference. Number 6, LA Rams. This is one that I'm kind of scared about because I have Seattle and I have the Giants taking both a step back, not making the playoffs. So the Rams, I don't know. Like, I really don't know. I have them finishing 10-7. I guess I just like Stafford. I like that defense, even though they got rid of Bobby Wagner and Jalen Ramsey. So, but I trust Sean McVay. I do. I really do. And if Stafford's healthy and he throws the ball better than he ever has, like Van Jefferson was saying, then they'll be fine. At number 7, Minnesota Vikings at 9-8. Again, if they win the division, don't be shocked because they won it last year. I think they won 13-4. But just a fun pick to get them Detroit Lions in there. Who doesn't like the Lions? I mean, they've never been to the Super Bowl. Give them a chance. And while Detroit, and while Minnesota, Minnesota fans have lost worse than probably any other team. So they'll make the playoffs. Kirk Cousins will get to the playoffs and probably lose his first game out there. So let's go overlook the wild card matches we'd have. Right now, I'd have the Jacksonville Jaguars finishing at the number 1 seed and the Philadelphia Eagles getting the 1 seed, with the Eagles getting home field territory. Is that word, home field advantage? I don't know. Getting the number 1 overall seed, I guess. But wildcard weekend will be the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead getting the Miami Dolphins to come to town. Hopefully a healthy Tua Tagovailoa. You never know with his concussions. That'll be a fun, high-flying, explosive matchup. I've got the 3-seeded Buffalo Bills facing the 6-seeded LA Chargers. I love that matchup too. I mean, these AFC matches are going to be so much fun in the playoffs. And the 4 versus 5 seed, the Baltimore Ravens at home against the Cincinnati Bengals, a rematch of last year. A game that I would pick the Bengals in. They'd probably be about, if this was how it would go, about plus 2.5 points. I don't know. I'd take the Bengals in that game. But let's go to the NFC. Number 1, Philadelphia, home field advantage. Number 2, the San Francisco 49ers getting home field against the Minnesota Vikings. Now, we saw that. I feel like we see that matchup all the time, and San Fran rolls them, so I'd expect that to happen again. 3-seeded Detroit Lions getting the 6-seed LA Rams, little Goff versus Stafford reunion. Detroit would love that because it's a win no matter what happens. If Stafford wins, Detroit wins. If Detroit wins, Detroit wins. So, fun matchup. I mean, this is just super fun. And then probably the most boring game of the week. I would expect this to be the Nickelodeon playoff game, the New Orleans Saints versus the Dallas Cowboys. You're telling me I get on primetime Derek Carr versus Dak Prescott. I'm like, put me to sleep already because I ain't watching that game. I'll let you know right now. I'm watching the Goff reunion. I'm watching the Niners. I'm watching the Chiefs versus Dolphins. I'm watching every AFC game. I ain't watching Saints versus Cowboys. That's not happening. All right, I'm sorry. Unless I think Cowboys are fun to watch when they lose. So that's what it is. First preseason Super Bowl pick, I'm going Cincinnati Bengals. Wild card team, 5 seed. They'd have a tough road to get there, but hey, Cincinnati's fun, and Joe Burrow's still on the team, so that is what it is. But again, those are going to be my 14 playoff teams. If y'all like this video, show me some love. You know what to do, and I'll catch y'all on a video in a couple days. Bye-bye.